Super host, 4.8 out of a 5-star rating, an almost zero cancellation rate, and 100% response rate. Do you want to know how to get there? Then this is the perfect video for you. I'm going to be sharing with you all the different tips and tricks that we have done to maintain our ratings on Airbnb, which is where we're currently listed on, or any other online travel agency. First of all, ratings are literally everything, and that is what can make or break your short-term rental. So it's extremely important for you to take this thing seriously because, that will bring you more guests, and then more guests, you know what that means? More money. So here are a few things that we ensure that we do. First things first is we ensure that we are always available. So always available means you should always be available to respond to your guests no matter what time in the day. When I say no matter what time in the day, I literally mean it. Because you have people that might send in a request at 4 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning. I understand that you might be asleep, but there's a trick to it. You don't necessarily have to be on your phone. You can download the app called Smart B&B, which literally helps you with automated responses. So you're there and really not there. Airbnb also has its own integrated automated response as well. So if you're listed on that platform, you can already schedule all your responses. So once a request comes in, there's an automated response that is responding to the guest. And then when you wake up, you can continue from there, especially if it's like a specified request. So another thing we do is we send in midday check-in messages. So for example, if you have a guest that is even if the guest is staying for 3 nights, on the second night, so the first night you send in a message, make sure the guest has checked in properly. On the second night, you should definitely send in something, just a little, oh, how's your stay going? It goes such a long way. Because the truth is, you might have guests that, something might be wrong in the apartment, but they really don't want to bother you. That little message that you have sent to them, they now begin to communicate with you, and they're happy that you're communicating with them. It's not like you've just let them be in the home without even checking up on them. So that check-in actually goes a long way. We've had a guest that was probably staying in one of our apartments for, I think, a week and a half, and throughout their stay, they literally didn't say anything to us up until we sent in the midday check-in message, and they're like, oh, the internet hasn't been working, and there was something else that wasn't working, and we're like, you didn't even let us know. So you have guests like that really don't say anything to you, but just because a guest doesn't say anything doesn't mean everything is okay. So you always have to check in on them, and it also makes them feel like you're communicating with them and you're present and you're there. So that is extremely important, and it helps you with your reviews at the end of the day and then your ratings. So one other thing that we ensure that we do is we try not to catfish anyone. So with our properties, like you can see this beautiful one here, what you see is literally what you get. So that's one comment that we get from a lot of guests. Like when they come into the property, they're even surprised or amazed to see that it's exactly as it looks in pictures. Some even say it's better. So please do not catfish your guests. If you put up a picture on your listing, make sure your home looks exactly like your picture in your listing. One other thing that you should totally do is ask your guests for reviews. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you asking your guests for reviews. You can always say, oh, please give us a feedback. And the feedback doesn't have to always be positive. We've had some positive, some negative. Not everybody will like your home if we're being honest, but make sure you get feedback from your guests. Those reviews are extremely important, and you should ask, because sometimes they're done, they just want to go, but just send them a message. That last message that you sent to them, it should always have, oh, thank you for coming to our home. Please leave us a feedback, or please let us know what you feel. Your review will be important to us and all that. It goes a long way. So you should always ask for feedback, and most of the times they will oblige you. They'll write you a review and let you know how they feel. One thing you should definitely not forget is you're in the hospitality space, so you have to be hospitable and kind of go out of your way for your guests. I'm not saying you should put your head on a platter or anything like that, but I'll give you an example of going out of your way. I remember a couple of months ago, there was scarcity of grapes in Lagos. A funny story. There was scarcity of grapes in Lagos, and we had a guest that really loved grapes, and he was looking for grapes. I remember he called one of my house managers and was like, oh, please, he needs grapes. Where can we find grapes? We're like, okay, we'll figure it out. That's what we do. We'll find you grapes. We couldn't find him grapes. We went to like 5 different supermarkets. We couldn't find him grapes, but we got him something else instead. And I remember he was so appreciative of that gesture, you know, that we had to, because we kept calling, we're like, oh, we're at this supermarket, we can't find grapes, we'll keep going. So we went to like 5 or 6 different supermarkets in the Lekki area. There were literally no grapes anywhere. And then we got him, I think, apples or oranges or something as a substitute. And he was like, oh my gosh, he was so appreciative of that. So that's a little, I mean, it's not a lot, but it goes a long way. So that's one way you can go out of your way for your guests. Finally, don't forget to give perks. Those perks are super important, especially for long stay or even return guests as well. So things like, say for example, you don't offer breakfast in your short stay rental. You can always say, send them a breakfast tray, or give them like a 10% discount off their stay, or give them 1 free night, and or throw in an additional cleaning, an additional day of cleaning, you know. So things like that go such a long way, and you definitely begin to get reviews, and then your ratings will be bumped up to where you want it to be. So I'm going to conclude with reading out a review. This is probably one of my favorite reviews that we've actually had, because it kind of summarizes who we are as a brand, and it is from a guest called Comfort. So I'm going to read it out so everybody's here. So this is what she says. I usually stay at the George's Hotel in Ikoyi, but I could not on this trip because all hotels were closed due to COVID-19. My friend found this spot for me. At first, I didn't believe that the pictures were real. To my pleasant surprise, the apartment was more beautiful in person than in pictures. Do not catfish your guests. I was absolutely stunned by this space. Needless to say, this apartment will forever be my first choice anytime I visit Lagos. I would also like to acknowledge and commend the incredible management staff that ensured that no matter what time of the day or night, all our issues were promptly responded to. So that covers you just always being available and always checking in on your guests and responding to them timely. I highly recommend this place to everyone, and don't think twice, book it. So she has told you, you better be booking our spaces. All right then, take care, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next one. Bye.